Women and Michael Myers and women, Finkel and Einhorn.
Einhorn and Finkel.
From the opening scene of this iconic franchise, sex has been a major theme. But why? Well, there are several schools of thought on this. For one, why did Michael Myers stab his own naked sister to death as a small child? We probably don't want to know. That's your sister, bro. But attractive women have always been a part of the deranged psyche of Michael Myers. The 1979 Curtis Richards Halloween novelization goes into a lot more detail about Michael's sexually driven murders. Regardless of those dark thoughts, the Halloween franchise has, over the years, given us countless beautiful and strong women. Some who fall victim to him and his desires in horrendous ways, others who beat the hell out of him for it. Today, we're here to celebrate them all, but don't get us mistaken. This isn't meant to be some perverted or degrading thing. We'll leave that to Bud in Halloween 2. This is a celebration of the hottest women in the Halloween franchise, their strengths, and in some cases, their deaths. In chronological order, we start at the beginning with Lynda, played by PJ Soles in the original Halloween. Alright, so for this character, and maybe one more later, take everything I just said and throw it out the window. I can't sugarcoat this. Lynda from Halloween doesn't have the greatest personality, but I cannot, with good conscience, not include her in this list due to the character's undeniable horror history sex symbol status. But maybe even then we're being unfair. While she is a total butthole of a friend when it comes to Laurie, along with Annie, and she thinks everyone from Devon Graham to white-faced mystery man driving a station wagon is cute, she is full of life and energy. It's not all looks. When it comes to the looks department, however, men and women for over 40 years have seen something they like when it comes to Lynda. It's undeniable. Even if I am, still to this day, wondering what the hell that line was between her and Bob about ripping clothes off.
Then you rip my clothes off, then we rip Lindsay's clothes off. Yeah, I think I got it.
Totally.
Ugh. Lynda's also a part of one of the most iconic scenes in horror history, of course, when Bob is turned into a live, laugh, love sign on the wall and she's strangled to death with a phone cord. While naked. Naturally. Totally. Next up, we have poor nurse Karen, played by Pamela Susan Shoop in Halloween 2. Karen was the kind of person who never left a friend behind, even if it meant she was going to be late for work and catch a tongue lashing for it. She even had the patience and space in her heart to deal with her coworker and really good friend Bud, who was a degenerate pervert with no sympathy for his fellow man. Not only is Karen a giving friend, but she's an excellent multitasker. She manages to sneak away with Bud for a hot tub lovemaking session while also watching over innocent babies as a maniac killer was on the loose. Okay, I cannot sign off on that one, Karen. That's just poor decision making. However, Karen may be beautiful, but she's not the most aware person you've ever met either. When Michael comes up behind her in place of the now shish kebab Bud, she still doesn't realize it's him, even while sucking on his fingers. Do you know where those fingers have been? There's no way that you couldn't smell or taste the fact that those are Michael Myers' disgusting fingers through what he's done over the past 2 films. But to be fair, I bet Bud's fingers probably didn't smell or taste much better. So we gotta give her a break there. Michael then follows this up by giving Karen possibly the most brutal kill of the entire franchise as he takes her by the hair and sends her bobbing for apples in scalding hot, boiling water. He apparently agrees that she was attractive because he was extremely angry with her to the point where he didn't even mind melting his own skin on his own hands while he sent her to hot girl heaven. You deserve better, Karen, and we salute you. Next up, we have Ellie, played by Stacey Nelkin in Halloween 3, The Season of the Witch. That is right, it is time for a massively underrated Halloween franchise lady, Miss Grimbridge.
Where do you want to sleep, Dr. Chalice?
That's a dumb question, Miss Grimbridge.
After arriving and realizing her father has been killed horrifically by a robot who ran to his car afterward to refresh himself in a car bomb, she's understandably reeling. Who better to comfort her and help her solve the case of her father's murder than a drunk Dr. Chalice, using any excuse necessary to neglect his kids and hit the road for a Miller High Life bender.
Well, I'll call you Monday. I gotta go. Bye.
Ellie doesn't take no for an answer and is as brave as they come. She also doesn't mind saying what she wants and going after it, multiple times. Hell, once she gets going, you practically have to hit her with a crowbar to get her off you.
Aren't you just the least bit tired?
No.
In my opinion, we lost Ellie far too soon. If she's this much of an adventure-seeking firecracker when she's in grief mode, I would have loved to see her in better circumstances. You just know that she was the life of the party wherever she went. Don't forget that she was a kind, compassionate person who didn't give Chalice shit about his drinking not once.
Slow down. It's getting late. I could use a drink.
She instead gave him a shoulder to lean on in tough times. Hey, Chalice, those aren't shoulders.
This place is a zoo.
Next up, we have Kelly Meeker, played by Kathleen Kinmont from Halloween 4. Who is surprised? I'm not. If I had to guess a single shoe-in from this entire franchise on most lists, it would be Cops Do It by the book herself, Kelly Meeker, which, by the way, that is a weird shirt to wear, right? For the daughter of a sheriff to wear it, because it's a sex joke, right? So why is I'm going to choose to ignore that. Much like Brady chooses to ignore Rachel once he's blinded by those lights and laid out like a douche in front of the sheriff's fireplace that night. Now look, Kelly gets a bad rap for being sexually confident in herself, and while I think Rachel is great and was wronged by this franchise as a whole with her anticlimactic death in Halloween 5, I side with Kelly on this issue. It's wrong for Rachel to treat her like a lady of the night just because she did what was best for her by getting with Brady that Halloween evening. It's not like she was just readily available to be with anyone, and if you don't believe me, ask Wade.
Fuck off, Wade.
Ultimately, Kelly Meeker gives us one of the most memorable moments of the franchise, and, as a bonus, one of the best death scenes too, when Michael impales her into the wall with a shotgun. Don't ask us how that makes sense scientifically. It's kind of like how Brady manages to stand up in front of Kelly's dad minutes after the infamous fireplace scene without having to walk like a hunchback. Yeah, right, pal. Someone get that guy a pillow. Next up, we have Kara Strode, played by Marianne Hagan in Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. Kara is a tough soul who has been through some shit. She's stuck back home living with six-time A-hole of the Century nominee John Strode, and clearly things haven't gone her way in life. Then there's her son Danny, who clearly has his own murderous tendencies. But she manages to stay tough and stay a good mom anyway. She's a patient person and a great listener, and as you can tell by the fact that she doesn't immediately tase Paul Rudd when she gets home to see him sitting next to her son in bed holding a random baby named Steven. She doesn't even laugh and call him a nerd when he shows her his Michael Myers collection in the Runes game on his PC. She ferociously protects her weird little son Danny from not only Michael Myers while this sweet metal riff plays, but also the Cult of Thorn as a whole. Even that old bag Mrs. Blankenship was in on it. Kara cements her status as Halloween final girl by surviving the Night and Dimension films when she assists Tommy in pumping Michael full of Ecto-Cooler and beating the holy hell out of him with a pipe. She survived a night that not even Dr. Loomis was able to survive, and I for one would love to see her return in a Laurie Strode type of return to the franchise in a new reincarnation of the Thorn trilogy. I said what I said. The goddamn runes! Next up, I have one question for you, and that's, when do we see Jamie Lee's breasts? That is a scream joke. I'm not asking for that, but I am telling you that Jamie Lee Curtis herself, Laurie Strode from Halloween H2O, is the next on my list. That's right, hear me out, okay? We're not talking young Laurie Strode. We're not talking H8, cracked out Laurie Strode. We're not talking Commando Roberta Sparrow Laurie Strode from Halloween 2018. No. We're talking about headmistress, axe-wielding, pounding white wines in the middle of the afternoon, Laurie Strode. Sure, she probably wasn't the world's funnest mom and wasn't going to win any personality awards, but she was dealing with some demons, man. And just like Mr. I'm getting my nipples pierced later, Alan Arkin.
I can't. I'm having my nipples pierced.
Oh.
I'm kind of into it. Not only do you get some hot sneaking around and making out in the office, but you get plenty of vodka and story time. She's a total badass in a way that feels far more natural than it did in the 2018 trilogy. Forget Sydney Sweeney's jeans. Give me a woman who will grab an axe and stalk a supernatural serial killer through a ghost town campus in the middle of the night. Alright, give me the jeans too. I'm not here to play favorites. Just 4 years removed from one of the hottest scenes to ever grace a movie screen in True Lies, I have no qualms with sticking Jamie Lee Curtis on the hottest woman of the Halloween franchise list, and neither should you. She even has a hot fake stage name, or witness protection name, in Carrie Tate. As far as her death goes, didn't happen. Well, not in this movie at least. As it turned out, she wasn't trapped on that campus with Michael. Michael was trapped on that campus with her. Or I guess as it turned out that poor EMT was stuck in there with her, but you get the idea. Next up, we have one of my favorites, Allison from Halloween Ends. That's right, specifically everyone's favorite Halloween movie, Halloween Ends. I don't know if you're sensing a theme here, but Allison was dealing with some demons in this movie, and she got dark towards the end of it. Now, this is her across the entire trilogy, but specifically Halloween Ends. This white-faced fucker has ruined her life 6 ways from Sunday. And she's just trying to live her life in this small town with a douche canoe of a boss and a batshit crazy grandmother. By the time Corey forces his way into the storyline and her life, she doesn't have time for small talk and bashfulness. She sees what she wants and she takes it. Say what you want about Halloween Ends and where they probably should have been spending their time on, say, I don't know, Michael Myers, but Allison's character did end up with a fascinating arc. The novelization goes even further into this backstory and is worth checking out. Not to mention the fact that she held her own throughout the trilogy, not only fighting off Michael Myers several times, but also dealing with boyfriends throwing her phone into pudding and their friends trying to hit on her while jumping through people's backyards, including this badass moment where she stared into the abyss of the blackest eyes and held her own. Who knows, maybe that's some of what was going on with her in Halloween Ends. The abyss looked back. We know how that turned out for Corey. Allison was a total badass in the Halloween trilogy, and it's kind of unfair that her great performance there in Halloween Ends and what she did with that character got overshadowed by all the poor decision making at the end of that story. Next up, Vicki, played by Virginia Gardner in Halloween 2018. What a refreshing Halloween victim Vicki is. That sentence sounded so wrong. You get what I meant. Seriously though, think about it. In so many franchise horror movies, specifically the original Halloween movie itself, so many of the friends of the main character were super annoying, self-centered, crappy friends that you didn't really even mind to see die in a lot of cases. When it came to Vicki though, that shit hurt. She's such a cool person. She's a good friend. She doesn't mind missing out on the dance. She doesn't mind babysitting. She's even gonna have her friends over to smoke some Alakazam afterwards. She's also a badass babysitter who lets Julian watch Emilio Estevez horror classics and is adorably excited about doing over the top of the clothes stuff with Dave. The only downside to liking one of the early victims so much is that you feel genuinely angry when Michael kills her while basking in the glow of Julian's nightlights. But that's the point of movies, right? To feel something. Vicki is murdered by Michael Myers via butcher knife while trying to fight him off to save Julian. But she does get to be one of his most interesting arts and crafts projects afterwards. That's it, guys. That is the list. Now, these things are super subjective, right? I could have gone on and on all day. This is no shade to any of the women who did not make this list, because there's tons of beautiful, amazing women in the Halloween franchise that we just didn't have time to get into today, including Danielle Harris's return as Annie Brackett in the Rob Zombie films, Sam from Halloween 5, Rachel in Halloween 4 and a part of 5, Gone Too Soon, and Sarah from Halloween 8. There's a lot of women we didn't get to discuss today, but they're all still awesome. And comment down below and let us know which ones we missed out on that you personally would have had in there. That's it, guys. That is the show. Thank you all so much for watching. We shall talk soon. And don't you forget, evil dies tonight. And Michael Myers, he's not a soundbite. He's a killer shark.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.